Hey everybody, welcome back to Next Play Records. It's been a while since I've posted a video that included some new additions to my collection. And so today I have a video that'll cover Record Store Day Drop 2 that just happened, as well as some new additions to my collection that have been sitting around over the last couple of months. So let's get right into it. I have a big stack to go through. So most of the new additions, I have some that I'm not showing today. Most of the new ones are jazz, but we'll go through them. First Record Store Day release I picked up, and it's not one that I had to have, but when I was there at the second store, I went ahead and got it because it looked like it would have some good songs that I don't have on the studio releases that are in my collection. So this is the Ramones live concert from Australia, and it sounds really good. I listened to it the day I got back from the stores, and I really like it. A lot of energy. Joey is singing very well. You can hear the separation of instruments pretty well. Drums sound great. So this was a good release. I don't really love a lot of live releases, but ooh, this glare is pretty bad. I need to take the shrink off. But anyway, this was a good Record Store release for Drop 2 that I grabbed. Next one I got was Miles Davis Champions, and I've been wanting to get the Jack Johnson release, the tribute to Jack Johnson. So I knew I needed to get this, even though I still didn't have at the time the Jack Johnson release. But these are some cool songs, funky jazz, rock, fusion, and different than a lot of jazz that I have in my collection. So I really wanted to get this. Another reason I wanted to get it is because of the cover. I think that's cool. I'm a big mixed martial arts and just combat sports fan. So I like this cover of him sitting in his corner as a boxer. And although he's a little scary looking, a little famished looking here, Miles Davis, he was a big boxing fan. So obviously this release is from the extended sessions here, where the songs are titles of the boxers that he's doing tributes to. You see Sugar Ray on there, and Ali, and Duran. So good songs on here, just as good as the two that are on the tribute to Jack Johnson, which at the first store on Record Store Day, I was able to pick that up. So I got a nice reissue that gets good reviews. Sorry about this in the whole room, but goodness. And this is the reissue with the new cover here, rather than the original cover, which is shown on the back on this reissue. So I haven't opened this and listened to it yet, but I'm looking forward to it. Gets good reviews. Obviously I've streamed it, so I was happy to pick this up to go along with that Record Store Day release of Miles Davis Champions. The next one I got was the third record store that we went to that wasn't doing Record Store Day, but we had some time before we needed to get back home that day. And I grabbed from an antique store in the area, Sonny Rollins, Horn Culture. This is a later release of his, and this is on Milestone, I believe in 1971. The lineup on here was too good to pass up. I had this on my want list. Sonny Rollins, Walter Davis on the piano, Bob Crenshaw on the electric bass, a guy named Musuo on the guitar. But these are great songs. Sonny Rollins still has that great tone, even though it's more of a post-bop and modal type record. I love it. I love Sonny Rollins, and his whole career has been amazing. So glad to add this to my jazz collection that day. Another one I stopped by a friend's house who lived in the area of the store that we went to, and he gave me a stack of records. This is one that I wanted to show. It's ones he's had, he wanted to give me over the last few months. I just haven't been over to his house to pick them up. And this is a special UK 12-inch single of Queen Bohemian Rhapsody that he had, and he gave it to me. It was released by Virgin Records in 2015. But it has Bohemian Rhapsody on one side, and on the other side, it has I'm in Love with My Car. So two great songs, great quality This is really valuable, especially for a 12-inch. I believe the median's $45 on Discogs. So a little special release of Queen's, two of Queen's best songs, in my opinion. And it's got the EMI label on it, released by Virgin Records. Very nice quality vinyl. It's got a, let you see the label while I read this here. It's got a Abbey Road half-speed mastering is what this is. So that would explain why it has some value. So I've got a half-speed mastered from Abbey Road Bohemian Rhapsody 12-inch single here that I haven't listened to yet. I imagine it sounds terrific, and I'll let you know in the comments when I listen to it tomorrow what I think. But there you go. That was a great gift from my best friend. So, all right, that's all I got for Record Store Day. I was one of the main ones I wanted to get, along with Miles Davis Champions, was Ann Peebles. This is Ann Peebles. It's a first-time reissue on vinyl. The original, I think, goes for about $500, a 1969 release, I believe. And the record store I was going to early in the morning, got in line so we'd be one of the first ones, said they had plenty of stock of it. And I don't know if some record stores, might want to bait people to come, but they didn't have any. And he acted like he lost the box. And I left him a message saying, we just left your store, so if you find the box, let me know, and save me one of those copies of This Is Ann Peebles. Never heard from him again. But I was able to find 2 copies online at the regular retail price on Record Store Day, even though I believe it's pretty limited, and the price you would think would skyrocket after Record Store Day. I was able to find 2 around that $25 to $30 price point, and I haven't received tracking yet. They say they're in stock. They're just backlogged, the 2 places I've bought it online. So I'm going to give one to my mom, and then I'm going to keep one. So I'll end up getting that one. Record Store Day release, colored vinyl, should be really good. So happy to have that one on the way. These next few I have are all jazz new additions to my collection over the last couple of months. And the first couple are going to be non-Blue Note, and then I'll finish with the Blue Note. Okay. One record that's been on my want list for a while, I found a good Japanese reissue on Milestone of this Riverside release of Presenting Ernie Henry. And let's get rid of that glare. Presenting Ernie Henry with Kenny Dorham, Kenny Drew, Wilbur Ware on bass, R. Taylor on the drums. Recorded in 1956. Awesome record. Ernie Henry, somebody I didn't know a whole lot about. But he's really good. He's got a unique style of playing that saxophone. It's almost like a bop, before hard bop style playing. It's kind of an old sound to it, but goes well with Kenny Dorham on this record. And I think they have a couple of others where they paired up and did a good job. So I'm on the hunt for those as well. But this is Presenting Ernie Henry, originally on Riverside. This is a Japanese 1977 release, I believe. Mono on the green Milestone label that most of the Japanese Milestones have. So great addition there. Sounds awesome. Good quality pressing from Japan. Presenting Ernie Henry. And here in 1956, he was called a remarkable new jazz talent. And I would agree with that. I believe he died really, really young. Maybe in his 20s, like too many of these jazz stars did. But there you go. That's one of my new additions to the jazz collection. The next one, non-Blue Note, is a killer album. Way better than I even expected, even though it's really high on a lot of people's favorite jazz album list. And this is the reissue from the Acoustic Sounds Impulse release, and that is The Blues and the Abstract Truth with Bill Evans. Don't forget Oliver Nelson, Roy Haynes, Eric Dolphy, Paul Chambers, Freddie Hubbard. What a great lineup, and just awesome music. It departs from that normal hard bop that I love, but it is just unique, awesome sound from all the different instruments, especially Eric Dolphy, I believe, plays about 3 or 4 different instruments on this album. Bill Evans is great, Freddie Hubbard, Paul Chambers, And then Oliver Nelson, which I don't have a lot of, has a good sounding sax on here. He also plays, he plays the alto and the tenor sax, but Dolphy plays the alto sax and the flute on here. And then George Barrow, who's not listed on the cover, plays the baritone sax on a song or two. Roy Haynes on the drums is great. So, but anytime you have Bill Evans, Paul Chambers, Freddie Hubbard, Eric Dolphy, you're going to have a great album. So this was a legendary release. So happy to get it. And these acoustic sound series releases are high quality. One of the best sounding albums in my collection. Next one I have, finally, this is not a new released Tone Poet, but to me, I kind of held off on it, listened to it a little bit on some streaming, and loved it. Can't pass up Donald Byrd, Bird in Flight with Hank Mobley, Jackie McLean, Doug Pearson, Doug Watkins, Reginald Workman, Lex Humphreys. Just a great release. It's almost 2 sessions here. One session with Hank Mobley, one session with Jackie McLean on the sax, so they split up. And then awesome Tone Poet inner gatefold photos right there. So not sure why I didn't want it right away. It was probably a budget thing and there was other stuff I wanted, but happy to have it now. Here's a couple of tone Poets out there that I haven't gotten that I really wanted. And now it's hard to find them. So you really can't drag your feet. If you can afford it, you need to grab them right when they come out. I think it's the Art Blakey release. Man, I can't remember what it's called. Not the newest one. I'll show you that in a second. But so this is the next release I have. The Blue Note Classic Series release of Sonny Clark, Cool Struttin'. And I did a little video clip on my phone of this record to my family when I first spun it. And man, this is one of the best quality pressings from this series that I've had. Probably the best sounding from the classic vinyl series that's come out. Cool Struttin', Sonny Clark, one of my favorites. And we know the iconic lineup on this one. Art Farmer, Jackie McLean, Paul Chambers, Philly Joe Jones. 4 great songs on here and an iconic cover. There you go. No doubter to add this. All I had of this record was the 75th anniversary. So I'll be trading that in, giving it away, selling it. But cause that one is great from the analog tapes. Okay. Next Tone Poet I got, and this was a no doubter. I had to get it right away because I knew it would be limited and special, and it is. On Pacific Jazz, this is the Tone Poet that came out with a Witch Doctor, which is coming up next, but Katanga, Curtis Amy, Jackie Wilson, Ray Crawford, Dupree Bolton, so good. Oh, those two together are so good. This was a release from 1963, so it's got a little bit more of that edgy free jazz style to it. Look at that shiny cover. Not a gatefold on this one, but true to style, I guess. It's sturdy, very nice. Cardboard and tip on, all that good stuff. So Katanga is a no-brainer. If you love jazz, you got to find it, you got to get it. This is special release, kind of like the Blues and the Abstract Truth. It is something that can't be replicated. It's really special. It's hard to describe for me. I've listened to it a couple of times. I want to listen to it more and maybe take a deeper dive into reviewing it. But something about it is just really special that I've never heard. So happy to add that one. And then the other Tone Poet that came out at that time, Art Blakey. Let's take it out. I'm getting a lot of glare tonight. Art Blakey, the Witch Doctor, Art Blakey and the Jazz Messengers. And his lineup on this one is Lee Morgan, trumpet, Wayne Shorter, tenor sax, Bobby Timmons, piano, Jaime Merritt on the bass, and Art Blakey on the drums. 6 great songs on this record. Awesome photos. I bet this was a action-packed, high-energy session with these guys. Take a look at those photos. Again, I need to listen to this one again. It was maybe twice I listened to it right when I got it. And it's a very aggressive record. I love it, and am going to be happy to listen again and maybe do another review on that. This and Contanga came out in a busy time for me, so I wasn't able to immediately do a video and review it. So, but awesome release again from the Tone Poet series. All right, we got a couple more to show, all Blue Notes. And this one is not seen a lot. It's the Blue Note Classic reissue series that had these funky covers. I don't know what they were thinking, but they picked a picture that would go with the title, I guess. And this was a Dexter Gordon Landslide. This was a session that was not released right away until this 1980 release came out. This is the first time on vinyl. And 1961. So this is in Dexter Gordon's heyday. And the lineup on here is Dexter Gordon, saxophone, Kenny Drew on the piano, Paul Chambers on the bass, Philly Joe Jones on the drums. Okay, and then part of side one has Tommy Turrentine on the trumpet and Willie Bobo on the drums. And then a little bit on side two has Sonny Clark on the piano, Ron Carter on the bass, and Philly Joe on the drums. So it was kind of a 3-part split session, and maybe that's why they couldn't work out a contract to release it or something, because of all the different sessions that were added together to make this a full album. So anyway, it's got 6-7 songs on it. They're all good, and this release, I was surprised, sounds terrific. So this is a candidate, I think, to be a Tone Poet, but I haven't heard anything about it, so I jumped on this for a great deal until the Tone Poet comes out. But this sounds so good, I probably could wait or pass on it if it did come out on Tone Poet. But Dexter Gordon on Blue Note, happy to add it. And it came out on the blue label with the white B, a little darker blue than your standard there, but there you go. You can see my TV reflecting a record that's coming up next. Or not next, but soon. Well, there you go. Dexter Gordon Landslide. First time on vinyl. I think Japan released it a couple of years later. But much more valuable release because their production was a little bit more labor intensive, I guess. But put this one back up. All right, and I broke down and got another 75th anniversary of a title I had to have, and it is Joe Henderson's Mode for Joe. This is a good pressing of it. Sometimes I get scared of getting the 75th, but for a place setter, until I stumble across a better version of it, I grab it. So Joe Henderson has a great lineup here. Lee Morgan, Curtis Fuller, Bobby Hutcherson, Cedar Walton, Ron Carter, Joe Chambers, just a full lineup of heavy hitters. And then Joe Henderson is, he's starting to get free in his playing in this release, and post-bop type style. This was later in the 60s. This was, where we got? Should have looked at this. And this is outside of your normal hard bop, but I don't see it. How come I don't see it? I'm not going to waste much more time looking at it. I think it's 65, but I'm not 100% sure on that. We'll look it up on our own. Okay, so Mode for Joe, Joe Henderson. 6 great songs on here. All of them, no, half of them are written by Joe Henderson. You got one called Free Willin', the last song on side 2, written by Lee Morgan, and it is one of my favorite ones on here. And then Cedar Walton writes Mode for Joe. So that's interesting. And that would make sense that Cedar Walton wrote it for Joe. Mode for Joe, Cedar Walton, and Black. 2 on side 1 are written by the piano player, Cedar Walton. But A Shade of J, the first song, is awesome, and Free Willin's awesome. But great album, great place setter. Won't hurt my feelings if this is the only copy I get, because this one's pretty expensive otherwise. So I would love to stumble across it digging an earlier reissue or one of those 73s that sound so good. And now we'll move on to the last one of the day. And a shout out to Analog Archive, Joe from Analog Archives. He upgraded his copy of this, and I guess I was the first one he thought of to offer it. and I only had a 75th anniversary. So again, just like the Mode for Joe, I grabbed it to have this iconic release, but upgraded as soon as I could get a good deal on it. And Joe hooked me up with a fair deal on this record. So this is Search for the New Land. Lee Morgan, Wayne Shorter, Grant Green, Herbie Hancock, Reginald Workman, and Billy Higgins. 5 awesome songs on here. Search for the New Land is almost like a movie score. It's so good, and it's long, and it changes paces throughout. I love it. A lot of people say this is his best album if you're really critiquing the music. Maybe not the most enjoyable for everybody because it does slow down at times, but it's definitely one of my favorites. It's hard to pick a favorite of Lee Morgan, but it's definitely one of my favorites. The Joker, second song on side 1, and then 3 songs on side 2. All are awesome. This is a complete album with a full legendary lineup and a great mix of songs. So definitely iconic. Glad to upgrade, and I upgraded to the 1977 release that Joe had, and it has the blue with the white B, and it sounds awesome. Great condition. Not a scratch on it. You could eat off of it, as they say. Very clean. Happy to have that. I've listened to it multiple times already. So thanks again, Joe, for thinking of me and offering that to me and giving me a fair price. So there it is. That's the last one of the night. I appreciate your time. I'm going to have another video coming soon to when And People shows up and some of the other non-jazz new additions that I have also sitting around that I'd like to show and catalog. So, and again, and I want to also repeat what a lot of people in the VC have said. We're praying for Eric Weinbender, and do whatever you can through some of those fundraising sites that are going to help him and his family in this tough time after the car accident and medical bills and things like that it's just going to build up, and we know that. So continue to pray for him. Great guy. Love him. And until next time, he'll keep spinning that next play.